Hi everyone. I'm super excited to be your host, Antonia Soler, VP of Marketing at Fieldwire and Head of Hilti Ventures. Thanks a lot for being on the show.
Looking forward to our conversation.
Amazing. Antonia, take us back to your early career days until today.
Abs-
What would be your top career highlights?
I studied chemical and mining engineering in Barcelona, then did my master's in industrial engineering. And I was super lucky that at the time there was this university program that Hilti was part of. So that's how I got to know Hilti. And so 13 years ago, I joined Hilti for an internship and then kept taking new opportunities and challenges with them around the world. So I started with them at the global headquarters in Liechtenstein. I was there for 3 years and then 2016 moved to the US, first in our headquarters in Dallas and then to San Francisco, where I'm based right now. And I've taken different roles throughout my career at Hilti, from supply management, product management. I managed the sales team for the mechanical. And then 5 years ago, I joined Hilti Venture. And then also I started being very close to Fieldwire. So already since the acquisition, I was working very closely with Fieldwire. And then last year, I also joined Fieldwire as VP of Marketing.
That's such a amazing ride. And I don't see this route very common. It's very unique. When you were making those career choices, how did you make
I
those
always
difficult
said I have a
decisions?
vision. And, like within that vision, you have some clarity and ideas towards where you are going, but then also it's important to be very open to different opportunities. And that's something that I have loved from working at Hilti and at Fieldwire. It's the many more opportunities I have had throughout my career and great mentors that also have been part of my journey. And then also always I have thought a lot about opportunity, or more like there has been the thought of opportunity. A lot of the roles that I have taken at Hilti, they didn't exist before I took them, or maybe I was only the second person doing them, or it was like it was a role that existed, but in a completely different location and different shape, right? So there were always a lot of opportunities also which came with the creation and defining and developing the way we are working and how we are working, right? So that's something that's super exciting with Hilti Venture, right? Like when I joined, Hilti Venture had only existed for a couple of years. So it was super good to continue building into what my former colleagues had, and also still count with them and their expertise to continue growing that. But then also now at Fieldwire was only acquired 4.5 years ago by Hilti, and now this opportunity to join the team and create or build again together the whole marketing team, it has been a fantastic opportunity. And I also see this, right, like as part of Fieldwire, the way we are growing rapidly and developing software at Hilti, it's super fun and exciting.
Speaking about fun and excitement, like it feels like you're wearing multiple hats. So can you share how does a week in your life look like?
There is a lot going on at the same time, right? Like I love action. So there are different pieces to it. And everything is also like it really takes to stay very much connected to our industry that I really enjoy working with closely to some other construction and innovation leaders, but then also staying very close to technology. And it's technology, the way we apply it and look at it in many different ways, right? So from what are the latest trends in construction technology, also from the way how technology is changing marketing today. So also super exciting to be based in the Bay Area for that and to stay very close to the market and keep the pulse there. So how does a week work? Well, the first and most important thing is to work very closely with the team. I have a fantastic team, also highly energetic, highly experienced, that are with whom we are driving everything together. So that's one of the pieces. And then definitely the other one also, it's always trying to stay very close to the industry and to the latest that it's happening in the industry. Like, as I said, either talking to some other peers in construction companies and also talking to the many different startups and investors.
And how often you might have to travel for
Oh,
conferences or other
so I
events?
always say like that it also depends a bit on the season, right? Like I always say there are a few months at the beginning of the year that it's a bit quieter, but right now in May, June, it's full conference season time, so it's more of traveling non-stop. And I also think it's very important. I really like also personal connection. So I also see that there is a lot of value when we travel to these conferences, when we have the time to connect one-on-one, right? Like it's not just about like, of course, the panels and all these different things, but then it's the time we spend together in a group or one-on-one. I always think that can learn so much from each other and from some others who are also going through the same changes in technology, who are also thinking about the same challenges, that we might be talking to some of the same companies, right? And that we really have an opportunity also to discuss and exchange together. And there are some really fantastic leaders in our industry.
For a construction tech startup founder listening, what is the right stage to reach out to Hilti and you to pitch the idea, thesis, stage of the
Absolutely.
company, revenue,
So
etc.?
we very much invest in construction technology, and we have a very clear focus in terms of the industry. Now, we are more stage agnostic, and so we want to engage as early as pre-seed, and we can start investing in pre-seed or seed, and then we would go all the way to Series B or Series C. So we are open to start talking anytime. Also, we have a whole integrations motion where also when you think about products like Fieldwire or OnTrack, products can integrate then into it and also be part of our marketplace and also be listed on our webpage. So also giving access to these startups overall to already all the customers that would they visit the Fieldwire. But then also when you think about investment, we are very much looking into everything software and robotics. We look construction technology overall, but definitely software and robotics are some of our focus areas. And also we have built a team around that where we have team members more focusing on those different areas.
God. From your experience at Hilti versus Fieldwire, how does the sales and marketing differ from a tech startup versus more of a different venture?
Everything is still, when you think about it, we are selling to the construction industry. And that's what makes it very unique. And I think it's really the piece to highlight here, right? Like as I shared before, I was selling to construction companies focused on mechanical. So everything HVAC, piping, sheet metal. So I really enjoy, right? Like working with these companies and always, it's always in my brain the way they operate when I think about like marketing and go to market and sales and all these different pieces. So that's one of the things where it's most important. It's to understand the industry, know what our customers need, because it's like one of the biggest industries and it's also very unique. And you really need to know how these companies operate and what's important to them. So something that Fieldwire has done and that we have really built since the beginning is that as part of our sales team, we have the construction team. And the construction team is our customer success team. Everyone in this team has worked in construction before. So that's something that for us it's very important to have team members that will work with construction companies to help them understand the product, to help them with training, implementation, because we really want to drive adoption. What is very important when we think about software, it's software being adopted. Even more a software like Fieldwire that has been really developed for the field. So that's those that are really executing the work on the project. Definitely, when I think about sales for the construction industry, I very much think about having a team who understands construction, who has that background, as I said, right? Like part of the Fieldwire team or the whole construction team within Fieldwire were mainly project managers working in the different trades, working in general contractors who have experienced the reality of the job site, who have experienced the pains and the challenges of construction projects, and that they wanted to come to a construction tech company to have a broader impact across many different construction companies.
So, if I were to ask Antonia, you have to teach a masterclass in startup growth, and the audience is construction founders who just vibe coded a tool. Now they have to find customers in US and everything. What would be the step by step things that they should focus on as they go from prototype
Absolutely.
to actual
Well,
product market fit?
very important, and especially when I think about what would make a company to differentiate today, right? Like when I think about technology, how fast products can be developed, one of the very important pieces is that are you asking the right questions to construction professionals? So, do you
Yes.
have someone in your team that truly understands construction? And also, as you are talking to all these construction companies, have you identified some early adopters? Have you identified some companies that want to partner with you to help you develop that product and will be giving you continuous feedback? And then the next one is how fast are you iterating? How fast are you able to come up with the solution? How fast are you able to make changes based on what these customers are saying? I think that's one very important piece. I think there is another piece also that it's what is your access to the market. Today, there are so many construction tech companies, right? Like the fact you said vibe coding, like the fact that today you can develop something this fast and also that you can develop many more niche solutions means that there is, I always say, even a lot of noise for construction companies to choose who to work with. So a point to that is what's your way to reach these companies? How are you doing that, right? Can you partner with others, right? When I think about Fieldwire's integrations marketplace, that's one way where we are also thinking about, okay, the companies that we decide to back, the companies that we want to work closely with, I also want to open that universe and give more access to overall the customers that we have at Fieldwire and at Hilti, that it's millions and millions.
Are some ways where you could partner and get into the ecosystem where you have access to way more customers? Because I'm also thinking if someone is in Europe and try to sell to US and they might not have the network or they're still early in the career, are they going to conferences? Are they joining any accelerator? What are some ways where apart from just LinkedIn or email
Oh,
outreach, they could get
you
access to the
touch a very
customers?
important point, and we also think about this very much. We are part of the construction startup competition. That's a great platform to get access to the global market. Actually, we are a global competition. And when you think about all the partners that are there are GCs, there are materials companies, there are software, right? Like, really, it's a great universe of partners that can really help you accelerate. That's one. There are other programs such as Boost, and there are many other programs that now are being developed. Elliston also has a program. So there are all these different accelerators that can really help companies make that jump. I also think about the same about Hilti and Fieldwire, where we have a global presence. And I can also see how a US company could benefit a lot from the network and access that Hilti has in Europe and in the rest of the world to jump into other markets.
So taking a bit further, let's say startup got few customers, they have showing early signs of product market fit, but sometimes some startups die. So what are some things you see from your observation, the struggle a construction startup goes through?
What are some of the mistakes that construction tech companies may fall into? I think one of the biggest ones is to run too fast to build the GTM when you don't have yet product market fit. To really build the GTM well, you will need to spend a lot. And if you start doing that before the product market fit is there, like, yeah, maybe you sell a few deals at the beginning, but then what about churn and retention? Also, at the beginning, you really want to focus to hit that product market fit and make sure it's good, right? And you want to do that with a few of the first customers so that you then can really expand and grow faster. I would say that another potential mistake is when you are developing a solution, I think it's good to have a few initial customers that will help you develop that solution, but it cannot be just one. So I think that's another piece to also consider. Diverse, it's the amount of customers that you are targeting. And then within that, where are you focusing? What's your ICP? Okay, do you only gonna go to start with the bigger GCs? Are you gonna go to the trades? Are you gonna go to the mid-market, right? Like having that clarity, but within having that clarity, you should have enough customers that you are working with to develop your product market fit.
How much one need to save to spend on GTM? Like what's a good amount of money for growth or GTM motion?
That depends a lot on the stage and also depend on what's your motion. So it's difficult to just say a number or a percentage exactly, but you always need to be balancing that out and testing it, right? And say, okay, at the beginning, not much, right? Like you want to really put everything on product and engineering and go deep on that. And then as you start growing and have more product fit, then you can start expanding. Then you need to think very much if you are balancing out on what do you do in sales and customer success, and where would you start building first on that, and what's more important for your success. And probably at the beginning you might need a person who wears a couple of hats on that. And then also you need to think through, okay, how are you investing in marketing, right? Is it going to be more digital? Is it going to be more events, content, right? Like, so it depends a lot on what strategies are you following and at which stage you are, that then you need to decide how much you are investing in each piece.
I met you 4 years ago at Women in Construction Tech panel event in Chicago. Can you share, like you co-founded that initiative? Can you share what was the motivation and the
Absolutely.
mission with that initiative?
Yeah, it was so good when we met back in Chicago, and it's unbelievable that it has been already 4 years since then. So when I started on the venture side, and even before I started on the venture side, I always have been very much involved in different initiatives to bring more women to the workplace and to help women advance in the workplace. And so also before I even started Women in Construction Tech, but since I moved to the Bay Area in 2019, I was part of the Women in Construction group for SMAGNA, that is the trade associations for the sheet metal contractors. And so when I started Women in Construction Tech, I was also jumping into venture, and you think about construction and you think tech and you think venture. And of course, it was not many of us. And what we wanted, it was to create a community, and it's more a community of friends where we come together and where we can exchange and support each other. And that means that we help attract more women to the industry, but also we help to retain more women in the industry and help them advance. And so when I say also friendships, it's because like the goal there has always been much more about developing a strong and deep relationships. It has been not so much about the number of people who are joining. We want to impact many people. We want to reach many. But also we want to make sure that the ones who are there feel very close to each other. So, I mean, we have WhatsApp groups, and there are all these different events around the world where we have the opportunity to meet. And sometimes we try to do that around conferences because it's a great time when people are already traveling, and then we have that opportunity to meet. And already from some of these events, we have had founders that met an investor that invested in their company. We have had women that were either discussing a new role or negotiating a new role, and they could go to mentors and to other women within the group who help them understand like how to go about it, or who could be a referral. And I think that's very important when we think it's that informal network that everyone needs, and that it's very important as you are developing in this industry. And I also think the same way overall about the network and the community, right? Like there is a lot of the work that we do here where we need to exchange and we need to learn from each other and we need to partner. And we always need to take the opportunity to create spaces where people can connect and develop trust and really know that they can work together on some of these different initiatives and innovation.
God. So is it limited to
Global.
US only or from globally
Today,
people
this is a
can join?
global network. We
I
have
see.
local chapters in Madrid. I had someone from Barcelona recently reach out to create it here. Of course, I'm very happy about that one personally, being from Barcelona. We also have one in Paris, and this also, like, we started the one in Paris, but we also had someone in the Bay Area from Paris who benefited a lot from Women in Construction Tech when she first moved to the Bay Area. And then she said, I really want to keep doing things to, also help others because this has been so helpful for me. And now she also is very much involved in France, right? We have done events in Latin America. So global presence.
For someone listening, let's say from India, who wants to join or start a chapter, what's the procedure?
The way I think about it, I always say we need a leader who really wants to drive this, because I also want that the local leaders define what are the activities that would work in their local market. We would always think to at least 2 or 3 events a year in the local market, either around a big conference or more of dinner or like a smaller event with their local chapter people. But we would think more of that as, do you have a local person who really understands, knows the market, and wants to drive it as a local chapter leader? One. And two, do we have a critical mass? Are there enough people who would join the local chapter?
Got it. I see. And Antonia is very accessible on LinkedIn, so anyone listening can reach out
Absolutely.
for any collaboration support.
Okay.
I want to do a rapid fire where you have less than 5 seconds to answer and you have to keep it super brief.
I
Favorite
love
restaurant?
Greek food. So there are a couple of really good restaurants in Palo Alto. One of them it's called Ebbia, I think. And I also would recommend to everyone, if you want a good tapas place in the Bay Area, Teleferic Barcelona. This restaurant is originally from Barcelona and has some of the most amazing tapas and paella that you can find in the Bay Area.
Any city or country which is in your
India.
travel bucket list? Your favorite book?
I love some of the growth and development books. I have read several venture books. I have read a lot of like how to grow as a leader, how to grow in sales, and some of these that there are many good ones, but I'm gonna probably go more with a novel. And some of one that I really like, it's called La Catedral del Mar, and it talks about how a very famous cathedral in Barcelona was built.
3 words your best friend would describe you as.
Energetic, enthusiastic, and I know what I want.
A piece of advice to 18-year-old Antonia.
Go after what you want. Like, I think that really follow your dreams, follow your heart, follow your intuition. And I would say actually this to many of the younger people who might be listening. Actually listen your intuition, because there has been many decisions that you don't know exactly why, but something it's telling you that this is the right decision. And when you go after it, that goes more with the having a vision, but maybe not an exact plan. It's be open to opportunities, have a vision, follow your intuition.
If you have unlimited time and resources, what is one initiative you want to make into the construction industry?
I mean, there are many of these things I'm already doing, so I would expand on them, right? I would really think about the labor shortage. And, on that, there is one piece with women in construction, but then there is another piece around like how we make the construction industry more attractive to younger generations. We need to bring in more talent in all different kinds of roles, right? Like working in the field, working in the office, working in construction technology. I mean, I love the work that Angie Simon is doing with the heavy metal summer experience. And so there are initiatives like this that really inspire me, where I can think of how the construction industry can bring a lot of opportunities to people that may want or may not want go to college, and still can provide fantastic careers. And I would really invest even more time and effort in initiatives like this into how we make sure that people hear and know everything that the construction industry can offer to them.
That's amazing. As we wrap up, anything which we didn't cover in this interview and you
This
would
was
like to share on
fantastic.
a
It has
closing
been
note?
fun to reconnect after 4 years for this interview. Just as I said, this is a fantastic industry, and I would encourage others to continue exploring it. I really like to see many more now technical founders also coming to the industry, but I would really remind them also partner with industry professionals, because they really know what matters in the field. And that's also how we think about it. It's how we are supporting the field and the work that happens in the project. So I would encourage all founders to also think that way. Thanks so much.
Amazing. Thank you for being on the show.